Hey traders, welcome back to another Sunday video where we take a look at setups for the week ahead. In these videos, I talk about trade setups that I'm looking at myself or trades that I'm already in. And first of all, let's start with where I'm already into a trade. I just picked up recently a NASDAQ long position, and I want to talk about that. I want to defend that because there's a lot of bearishness out there right now. So I feel like I have to defend myself with this NASDAQ bullish positioning. And I want to talk a little about where I kind of stand with several markets. I know gold is a hot topic right now, so we will certainly be doing gold. We may talk about oil, which is also a hot topic, and kind of the cousin of gold, right? It's the liquid gold version. But in this video, like I said, we're going to try and go through some setups. I'm going to show you some charts that I've prepared for you, and let's get into it. So first of all, this is the NASDAQ 100, and for those of you guys who are U.S. citizens like myself, I trade ETFs. I can't trade CFDs in the U.S. What you'll notice is that if you're a U.S. person, broker regulations are really strict for us. We can't trade things like NAS100, but NAS100 is the same thing as if you're in ETF land, which is stock market, stock brokerage, which is what I use to trade. I trade QQQ. So I have a QQQ position, and it essentially tracks a very similar thing. Anyways, I'm bullish on the NASDAQ as it pulls back into support here. And from purely a technical standpoint, here's where we're at. I think, you take a look at the daily chart, and some people are going to point out very quickly, and on my videos, people have been pointing out, well, hey, look, Nick, you're in this downward trend on the daily. Despite that, though, here's the thing. I think we're kind of in a little bit of a range, and I think that we're possibly due for a breakout here, and I want to talk a little bit about it. There's been so much pressure against the stock market recently. There's been so many bearish catalysts that have come up. But despite all of that, the stock market continues to stay range bound. And I think that there's that possibility that with any sort of good news, which in my opinion, it could be earnings. Okay? Earnings started out pretty well on Friday with the banks reporting better than expected. So, just for a quick second before we get back to NAS100, I want to show you another chart. Here's JP Morgan, which had a great earnings report and actually traded higher. Then it came back down. Now, this coming back down is probably not exclusive to just JP Morgan. Here's another bank just while we're on the topic. Wells Fargo was up. You can see a lot of these gave back their gains, but I don't necessarily fault it solely to the banks. I think it's more so the industry as a whole took a bit of a dip. So you can see NASDAQ pulled back on Friday. That's where I picked up my position. Anyways, so the thing that I want to kind of point out with this is that if we take a look at the EDGEFINDER's breakdown on this, the first thing I want to show you guys is we'll take a look at the commitment of traders data together. And the commitment of traders data, if you're newer to my channel, we look at it all the time. It is a way to track what institutional money flows are doing. Are they buying certain assets? Are they selling certain assets? Because obviously, if the pros are buying something or selling something, it's probably a good indicator for us to follow. We've made that easy with our software, and my company A1 Trading, we build tools for traders, and so this is our software tool that we've built. We have many indicators, tools, resources for traders within the EDGEFINDER, which is what the software is called. But let's go in through this, and I'll show you its utility. So the NASDAQ 100 currently positions, it sits snug at 53.47, so it's not really super biased. Now, this is, of course, the net institutional positioning. So this takes the COT's non-commercial data, which are hedge funds and banks and things like that. And it says where are all of their orders, or where are all of their positions. Stack all the longs, stack all the shorts. And this is this section here. So a lot of traders who watch my videos, I know that use the EDGEFINDER just by keeping an eye on my videos when I go through this, they'll look only at this area. And I just want to caution you with that. Positioning is one side of the coin, but you have to also get the idea of, are these guys moving? If you're looking at gold, are they buying more gold, or is this position getting smaller and it's getting more bearish? That's where we go to the second section. And this section arguably is more important. It's what they're doing as of the latest report. And to my knowledge, I don't know of any other place that offers commitment of traders data broken down like this. So we've pulled in the data automatically, and then we filter it, and then we do a ton of calculations to generate this really easy to read chart. Now I know it looks like a lot at first, but really what you could do is you could only pay attention to the far left and the far right. Okay, I'll show you. The NASDAQ 100, while we're on the topic of the trade I'm in, the NASDAQ 100, you can see it's got a 53% to 47% ratio. But then look past that and we can take a look at this one column. The net change will show you as of the most recent weekly filing, which we got on Friday, by the way. So this is relatively new information. We had a 2.45% increase bullish overall. Now we can break that down further if you would like to. The change in long contracts, we saw an increase of 32.76. And you take a look at the short contracts, look at this. They're closing shorts. The way to read this row is the NASDAQ 100 overall has 53%. As of the most recent change, they had 3,276 long contracts opened up. And in short contracts, they closed a bunch of shorts. That's a very bullish week. And so I do like that as an extra confirmation when looking at my trades. Now, of course, you guys can pause the video. I know many of you guys do this. You could pause the video if you'd like and take a look at whatever asset that you like. A couple ones that stick out to me. I know a lot of you guys love gold. Gold had a big sell bias despite the recent pop in gold. I think that's really interesting. There was a lot of long positions that were closed and a lot of short contracts opened up. So we'll get to gold again. I promised I would do it. We're going to talk gold in just a few minutes. I do want to also remind you guys, if you would like access to the EDGEFINDER, you can get access to it down below in the description for a discount. Click that link, use that promo code YTVIP. That's YouTube VIP. You guys who subscribe and support my channel get extra discounts on the tool. Also, I noticed if you listen really carefully in my videos, sometimes when I do them from home, you can hear my cat snacking away. She's having her breakfast as we speak. But her name is Luna, and she's awesome. Oh, she just turned when I said her name. Anyways, sorry, we'll get back to the video now. Luna's distracting me. Anyways, the COT report, there it is for you guys this week. That was a key contributor to why I'm confidently sitting in my NAS long trades and why I think there could be a continued pop. We're also going into what I would say is a really important part of the year. Let me show you this. So seasonally, let's go take a look at the NASDAQ. And where are you, NASDAQ? You're somewhere on this list. I probably passed it already. You know what? I could just be smart about this and look up the NASDAQ. That's probably what I should do. Okay, here's the seasonality data. This is another really nice indicator to pay attention to. So we're mid-October, but we're going into what seasonally is some of the best times of the year. So I like the technical setup, but I also really love the fundamental setup. Seasonality would point towards more bullishness towards the end of the year, and I do like that risk reward. So again, that is why I'm positioned long on the NASDAQ and probably will continue to try for longs. If I do get stopped out, I'll look for a better entry regardless. So there you go. There's my case to be made for bullishness. I also think that, you take a look at the 10-year. This is a creepy chart for many. The 10-year, we talked about this yesterday on my video. If you didn't see that video, please check it out. It's highly worth. We talked about the 10-year. Many of you guys had asked me to talk about bond yields a little bit. I did a deep dive yesterday talking about the 10-year, mortgage rates, all sorts of good stuff, and how that impacts you as traders. Anyways, 10-year looks really, really overdone. I do think it's probably due for a little bit of a pullback, and that cooling in yields could be a nice catalyst for some stock upside, but we'll see. Again, this thing has been on a runaway train recently. So let's now take a look at the dollar index. The dollar index, again, before we can talk gold, which I know many traders are going to ask me about gold. Before we can talk about gold, we got to talk about the dollar. The dollar, really strong, but gold strong at the same time. And also at the same time, you have the VIX spiking up. This, my friends, is risk off. When you have the dollar, gold, and the VIX all moving up, I would like to say that that is pretty high likelihood of a risk-off environment. First of all, we'll come back to the dollar index. Volatility index is just an index that shows essentially It's a calculated instrument that basically looks at options and looks at volatility expectations, implied volatility, and all that good stuff. Anyways, all you need to know for trading is when the VIX is up, it's telling you that the markets are very volatile and likely to move quite a bit, and that's what the market is expecting. However, it also moves higher as a fear index pretty much. Whenever markets are scared, the VIX goes up. And so we saw a huge spike in the VIX. And at the same time, we have a huge move up on the dollar. So the dollar play right now seems to be a bit of risk off, combined with the stronger than expected economy in the United States. That is a prolonged and continuous, I guess, catalyst here for the dollar. It's regained its strength here. And as we go into this week, I think it's probably fair to say that things stay bullish until proven otherwise, right? We have some really tough geopolitical situations going on in Israel. We have, of course, yields that have been on the rise overall, which have really elevated the dollar in many ways. And again, you have a U.S. economy that is really strong. It's strong jobs numbers, hotter PPI and CPIs. You have an argument here for a strong dollar, but this is where things get interesting. The U.S. dollar looks strong. Gold looks strong for a different reason. We'll talk about that in a second. And you also have SPY, stocks, whatever, in my opinion, look strong. How can all of these coexist? Well, in many cases, it's really hard for that to coexist. But again, I think some of the bullish factors they overlap on stocks and dollar right now. Again, a strong economy is good for stocks and good for dollar. So yes, the Fed may crack down on stuff and continue to keep rates higher for longer, but I think that there's an argument here for bullishness on both sides. Anyways, dollar index, where's it headed? I think there's probably a good chance we do see the dollar index make a push back to the previous highs at 107.3, right? That previous high. I think it's a good shot we see markets make their way up into that point. There perhaps is some pullback trades that could be more interesting on the lower time frames. Euro USD, for example, perhaps some pullbacks within this move. Beautiful sell-off, by the way, from this level of resistance. I looked at this trade. I did not take this trade. I wish I had taken this trade. That is trading 101, right? Shoulda, coulda, woulda is the worst thing you can trade by. But anyways, maybe a pullback to this 38.2, this past level of support. There's still possibilities for joining this trade, I think. And again, similar to the dollar index, I think we probably see this thing make an expansion, move back down to a natural area on this chart, which is the previous low around 104.60. Okay, so that would be my personal opinion, is possibly looking for pullback plays this week, euro continuations. Again, you have a economy in Europe which is arguably pretty weak compared to the US dollar. So if my bet was somewhere, it would definitely be on the dollar, not the euro, based on fundamentals and technicals at this point. We had a nice breakout to the downside. So that would be my opinion on the euro. Now I want to talk about gold. So Nick, okay, if you're bearish euro, you've got to be bearish gold too, right? If you're basically saying the dollar's strong, dollar strong, dollar strong, you've got to be bearish gold, right? And the answer is actually yes. I am bearish on gold. I had some people in my comment section who were really upset with me because I mentioned being bearish on gold much earlier than this. In fact, I was bearish on gold over here. But I want to point something out. Being bullish or bearish on something does not mean I took a trade right here short. I have no positions on gold, and I haven't traded it in weeks. I've been focused on the NASDAQ, focused on a couple other things. I've been focused on oil. I caught some oil longs. So I've been trading other things. But am I wrong for being bearish in this area? I don't think so. Because I think if you're bearish on something and you don't place a trade and you're waiting for the right signal, you haven't done anything to justify being right or wrong. That being said, where am I at with gold? I'm being really cautious with it. I'm not rushing to get into any trades. My thought process and Frank's idea, we both were talking about this last Friday, we're thinking there's probably a good shot we see this thing roll over at this trend line. But the problem with trying to predict gold's price action right now is that geopolitical stuff is notoriously difficult to predict. We don't know what is going to happen in that tragic situation over in the Middle East right now. All we can hope for, as human beings, is for things to de-escalate and improve and somehow find some peaceful resolution. Am I the person for that answer? Absolutely not. I do not have all the facts, and I don't have enough of a opinion for that. But I think, in terms of gold price action response to it, it's going to be very difficult to look for a possible short when the market's just shooting in one direction like this. So I have not taken any trades, and I've been really patient to try and watch for something to set up. That being said, this 1940 level is a level where I will look for possible rejection wicks, possible movements back in the other direction, but I'm not rushing to take any trades on this. Now, why am I bearish on gold? Well, again, for some of the previous reasons that I mentioned. Dollar bullishness, right? Dollar strength is still here. You have a U.S. economy that looks strong. Higher for longer is probably the case. And despite my idea that I think stocks can still survive in a elevated interest rate environment, gold doesn't have earnings reports that can be strong and keep it going like a NASDAQ position could. Gold is just a shiny yellow metal, and if the stock market, if the Federal Reserve decides to keep interest rates high or even rate hike again, it's possible that you see gold make lower movements. So my personal opinion is cautiously bearish on gold. If I do take a trade, you guys will see it inside of the Discord channel. And remember, you can always see the Discord trades that were being taken by Frank and I. There's me and Frank on the screen right now. We've got a discount sale, same thing as the EDGEFINDER. You guys can find discounts for YouTube subscribers down below in the description. Click that link. And hope to see some of you guys inside of Discord. But that is where I share all of my trades. You can see this is what the community looks like. So we're chatting in there and all sorts of good stuff. And then if I take a trade, you can see here it is. There was my NASDAQ position. I notify it to everyone in the group. So yeah, if you're not already in there, you can join by clicking the links down below in the description. I share my options trades. By the way, I had a silver position. So this is SLV. This is just an ETF that tracks silver. So if I switch over to XAUUSD, you can see it looks the same. But I had a long position, essentially. Not really a long position. I sold puts, and my options friends, you will know what I'm talking about here. And if you don't understand, basically all you have to know is I did an options play that was bullish. Okay, so I sold puts. Okay, I sold puts. I got assigned on those puts. So I sold puts. I was short puts, essentially. Price came down. I got assigned those. So then I had a long position. Right? So when you short a put or you sell a put, someone else out there buys that put. They're betting that the market goes down. So they were definitely right. So then I got assigned those shares at the end of expiration, right? Then I got put into a long position on silver, okay? Then what I did is I sold covered calls. So then I sold calls on silver. And the idea with this is that now I have a position and I'm shorting calls. And in some ways those offset each other. But I collect a nice premium for selling that put and selling that call. So on this move, even though price didn't move anywhere pretty much, I essentially made money, which was really cool. I sold puts, and let me actually see if I can show you guys this. I'll show you my trade. I did not make very much money on this recent move, but I'll show you this. So let's go open P&L. There you go. You can see it on the screen now. So what you can see is that this is the covered call position. Since I already finished all the put stuff, this is the call that I shorted, obviously in the red, but my silver position is in the green. Combined, I made 50 bucks. Now, that doesn't sound very impressive, but on the other side of this, I also collected premium for my put, which ended up being like $200. So $250 for silver to essentially go nowhere in the last 3 weeks of trading. I'll take it. Sure, it's not that much money. Sure, it's not that impressive. But at the end of the day, that's a trade that I think, it can be. If you think something is not going to go too far in either direction, options can be wonderful. So anyways, silver, I'm still bullish. And as this trade that I've got finishes up, I will probably repeat the process. I'll probably, when markets start to dip, I'll probably sell puts again, right? And just keep trading that. By the way, if any of that sounds interesting to you, options are a very wonderful way to generate consistent money from the markets, much more consistent than simply trying to go long, trying to go short. Because with options, you inherently are less predictive and more so you're just selling for premium. So anyways, I share all of my options trades. If you guys would like to see those trades, again, you can see those inside of the group as well. And I do have a broker that's linked down below in the description. If you're interested in trading options, click the broker's link and you can find a broker that might fit for you. And yes, that is for both in and outside of the US citizens. So check it out. Anyways, guys, that is going to wrap up what I'm looking for. Remember, you guys can get access to the EDGEFINDER and all of its data, or you can join us inside of the Discord. Both will be linked down below in the description with those promo codes. Again, YTVIP will get you that discounted rate off of any of our products. And that is, of course, as a thank you to you guys as subscribers. I am very grateful to be able to do this every day. This is absolutely my passion, and sharing it with you all is really a wonderful thing. So hopefully the video was helpful to you. Have a great week ahead. We'll be back on the channel with more stuff for you throughout the week.